Sathyabama Institute of Science and Technology.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. N. Sridevi, Department of CSE, Assistant Professor, Sathyabama Institute of Science and Technology. Today we are going to see the topic about Kafka in Big Data Analytics. First of all, we are going to see about what is Kafka. So, Kafka is nothing but it is a message communication system, which means distributed message communication system, which also call it as publish subscribing system. So, it is a platform for video streaming process. So, for example, if we talk about a website, we people will give the request to the websites, and based on that request, it will put a response to the user. For example, again, if we talk about the Uber process or Uber services or Netflix services, whatever it is, how does this background process is working? For example, Uber services will put a message. Uber services will transfer the huge amount of data in day-to-day life. So for that reason, the Kafka will be more useful to handle the millions of messages in few seconds. Initially, the Kafka is developed at LinkedIn and later on it was initiated to the Apache product. Now, we can see about what is publish and subscribing system. So, publish and subscribing system will be used to transfer the messages, which means each and every day the messages is going to transfer. For that, producer will produce the message, which means it will push the message to the topic via the broker, and the consumer will consume the messages. Either we can say about the consumer or subscriber that will subscribe the message or consume the message via the topics. The producer will push the records to the topic and the subscriber will consume the message from the topic. So this is what that's publishing and subscribing system will be called it as. And next we will deeply see about how does this publish and subscribing system will work off. This is the architecture for Kafka. So in this architecture, we can see that so many producers are there, subscribers are there, and brokers are there. So first of all, we are going to see about what is broker. So broker is nothing but it is a kind of platform. So it is a software which will host the topic. So topic is nothing but whenever any kind of messages we are going to transfer via the topic only we can able to transfer the messages. So for that, the producer which will be initiated, it will create the message to the topic. The broker is initiated, host the topic, and it will post the message to the topic. And the consumer, what it will do, which means also call it as subscriber, it will push all those messages via the topic. In here, the main role in this Kafka is zookeeper. So the zookeeper is nothing but it is also kind of platform which will be created, which is used for Kafka system. So Kafka does not contain a single broker, it contains more than one brokers. For example, if one machine goes down, the entire platform will gets down. So for that, one more broker will be created by the Kafka and it will be interconnected with each other. If, for example, if one broker fails, here we can, in this picture, we can see that two brokers are here and all the process are connected to single broker, which means the broker 1. If in this picture, if the broker 1 gets down, then the zookeeper, what it will do, it will redirects all the traffics to the broker 2. So for that, how it will do, each and every time it will get the Kafka ID, broker ID, and each time it will updates the offset to the subscriber or consumer. So what does the updates of the offset? How does the offset will work? So this we can see it in the topics and the partitions. So what is topic? We can know that each and every time if the producer is going to produce the message, it is going to post via the topics. Once the message is posted in the topics what it will do, it will create a number of partitions. How many partitions can be created? It can create a more than one number of partitions for the particular topic. So it will create a more than one number of partitions. In this picture, we can see that for this topic, it is created for 3 partitions. So this Kafka will decides in which partition the message how to be written. So here we can see so many values. It will be call it as offset, and we can see that log anatomy for this offset. So this is the log anatomy. How does the offset will work it off? So how does this offset will work off? So here in this picture we can see that the same example, we can see that 3 partitions are there, and each and every partitions contains number of values. So each and every values call it as offset. Once the message is created by the producer, if the producer is created the message, the message will be written as the values. That particular thing is called it as producer offset. Once the producer created the message and it is assigned as a value, that is called as an offset value, and the consumer can join to the topic, that is called as a consumer offset. So in this picture also we can see that 7 offsets are there. If once the consumer joined to the topic, how it will read? Either it may start from the initial offset, or it may ends at the start from the end of the offset. So here in this diagram we can see that the consumer initiated at the offset 7, it will start reading from the offset 7, and due to some situation the offset 4, at the time of the offset 4, it stops reading. So if once it stops reading, when the consumer 2 joined at the second time, he doesn't know about where he have to continue. So for example, here the consumer stopped at offset 4, but the consumer 2 cannot know about where he stopped in the previous period. So for that, each and every time the offset information will be maintained by the offset, and it will provide out all those informations whenever the new consumer is willing to join. So for example, if the consumer 2 is going to join, it will provide the information, offset information, partition information and group information. If the consumer 2 is joining, it will be instructed, go to the offset 4, it stops, the previous offset stopped at the offset 4, and suddenly it will join to the offset 4 and it will start reading. Now let us see about the difference between the partitions and the broker. So here we can see that each broker holds a number of partitions. So each and every broker will contains a number of partitions, and each of these partition may be active as a leader or it may be act as a replicas. So here the red will be indicated as a leader and the blue will be indicates as a replicas. In this, here the Kafka producers, how does the Kafka producers is writing to the broker? So each and every time the producer is going to write only it can write it on the leader. So here the client will say it as a producer, it will write to the partition 0, which means which present on the broker 1. Each and every time the replica will be written to the next broker. Here we can see that red indicates the leader and the blue indicates the replicas. So the client, if once the client is started to the broker 1 to write it, and this partition will be replicated to the broker 2 in the partition 0 as well as to the broker 3 as a partition 0. Likewise, the same will be continued for the partition 1 as well as the partition 2 for the client is writing. So next we can see about why we need the topic replication. So topic replication, this is the architecture for the topic replication factor. So why does we need, if once the broker 1 fails, here each and every broker is connected to next broker, which means here the broker 1 contains the information about the topic A, partition 0, and the replica of the broker 1 is intimated to the broker 2. Here the replication is replicated to the broker 2, which means topic A as well as partition 0, and again to the next broker it will be the same thing will be happens for the broker 2, and here the topic A will be replicated to the broker 3, and again for the broker 3 the same thing will happens. Here the topic B will be acted as a leader, and again it will be replicated to the broker 1, which means the topic B as well as partition 1. Why we need this? If once the broker 1 fails, the entire information lost at the broker 1. So for this redundancy, we are creating a replication to the broker 2. Once it gets down, it will take the information about the topics, all the topics partitions informations from the broker 2 via the replications. So next we can see about these are all the features for the Kafka. So now we can see about it is very high, it provides very high performance and scalability, low operation overhead as well as durability. Next we can see about a history of Kafka. In history of Kafka we can see that initially at the time of 2016 the first cluster is started. At the first cluster it is started team of analytics. The team is started with the analytics, and in second cluster at the time of 2017 it is the inter-replication will started and the master nodes will be maintained, and at the time of third cluster they initiated at the 2020 and they stored all the informations about updates, all the Kafka informations in the, and they created the sync to the cluster. And at the last finally we can say that 2022 or till now it is working as a streaming. Okay, next we can see about what are the benefits of Kafka. Now we can say that it is more reliable. While creating a replicas, it will be more reliable, and scalability will be there, durability will be there, and heavy performance will be there. In next slide, we can see about the use cases of Kafka. In Kafka, these are all the use cases. One is messaging. We can know about that. We are going to transfer the informations in a distributed manner, and metrics. So each and every time the scalable performance will be maintained. That is, it can able to perform, it can able to do the activities of the performance of producers as well as the consumers, and log aggregation will be there. Website activity tracking will be there. Whenever the website is going to do some action, it will be traced by the Kafka, and streaming process will be there, event sourcing, and for commit log. And finally, we can say that how does this Kafka tool will be more helpful for big data analytics. Thank you.